Hey everyone, and thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Justin, and the Toronto Maple Leafs just lost their game against the Carolina Hurricanes 4-1, bringing their record to start the season to 2-4-1. I wanted to make a video probably about a week ago, just about the start of the NHL season. It's been pretty wild. Some teams that nobody expected at the top, and some teams that nobody expected to be at the bottom. The Toronto Maple Leafs being one of those. And then Toronto Maple Leafs went on to lose to San Jose, lost the next day 7-1 to the Pittsburgh Penguins in an incredibly embarrassing fashion. I wanted to make a video after that, but I didn't want my emotions to get the best of me after that one. But now, you know what? It's time to just talk and express some of my feelings about this team. I said at the beginning of the year that I don't have any expectations for this Leafs team this year. I don't have the expectation of them making the playoffs. I didn't before this start. Don't have any expectations on certain players and their performances, numbers that they put up, goals, assists, points, what have it. Didn't have any expectations. I didn't want to set expectations because I had expectations over the last few years and I was only disappointed. But after getting started at 2-4-1, clearly I did have expectations. I tried to talk myself into not having any, but I do. I can't help it. And that expectation is truly, and I mean this, not about wins. It's not. I would totally see the Toronto Maple Leafs not making the playoffs in the Atlantic Division. It's a very good division. But I did see them having a lot more effort than what I've seen in the first 7 games. Because coming off of what they did last year and hearing all of their sentiments from Kyle Dubas and Sheldon Keefe all the way down the roster, Matthews, Marner, Tavares, even though he was injured last year, they had the same sentiment that this team, they believed in each other. They knew what they were capable of, and they were ready to work, to prove to Leafs Nation, to prove to the NHL that they are a better team than the outcomes that we've had for the last 6 years, and especially the outcome we had last year against Montreal in the playoffs. And yet, they haven't shown up again, time and time again, for 7 straight games. Now, I shouldn't say that, actually, because like I said, it's not about the wins. The game against the New York Rangers, I thought the Leafs played great. They shelled New York. They were so good. They dominated play. They lost the game in overtime, and I was fine with it. I was happy because that was a great performance. Shesterkin played fantastic. Good on him. The Rangers were able to get a win, a 2-1 win, a tight game, but the Leafs played great. Outside of that, not much. Really not much at all. The Leafs defense has been objectively terrible, brutal this season. So bad. Every single pairing. Riley and Brody look off. Riley started the season, I actually thought, pretty well in the first couple of games, really getting into the action and forechecking extremely well. And since then has lost it. Lost his legs. He looks tired. He looks exhausted. He looks like he doesn't want to try. And TJ Brody, he's a saint. I love TJ Brody, but he's not the TJ Brody we had last year. He's making mistakes. He's pinching more than I remember him pinching. And it's killing us. But even more so, the Hull-Muzzin pairing is awful. And I honestly didn't really like them last year as far as what we considered them to be a shutdown D pairing. They make far too many mistakes and take far too many chances to ever be considered a shutdown D pairing. And this year, they have been exposed. And I understand maybe Jake Muzzin's a little bit hurt. Maybe Justin Holl is as well. If you are, sit out, because I can guarantee you Timothy Liljegren and whoever else you decide to bring into the roster would be 1,000 times better than anything that Jake Muzzin and Justin Holl provided this year. Every single game, they're on the ice for goals against, most of the goals against, and they give up so many opportunities. It's crazy. You cannot convince me that that is a shutdown D pairing. And then Sandin and Dermott, 2 younger guys. I see the upside, but they're young. They make the mistakes. Overall, as a D-core, they're terrible. They look really bad so far this year. And yet, with that being so blatantly obvious that the defensive group this year is so bad, We're losing because we can't score. It's not even about the goals against. Yeah, the Pittsburgh game, we gave up 7 goals. That was just terrible performance from all the guys. But most games, we're losing because we're only getting 1 or 2 goals. Case in point tonight. You would think that a lot of the players would have a little bit extra motivation playing against Frederik Andersen. Well, Frederik Andersen looks great so far this season, partly because he's not playing behind the defense of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's playing behind the defense of the Carolina Hurricanes, who are such a well-rounded team. And I went into this game tonight thinking that the Leafs were going to lose because Carolina is an extremely, extremely good team. But you see the difference so clearly tonight. They win the puck battles. They've got the offensive threat. They're able to score. But then when they go up 3-1, they give you no opportunities. We made it very difficult on ourselves in the third period. I think we only got like 5 shots in the third period. Not good enough for a team trying to come back. But that's Carolina being really, really solid defensively. And the Toronto Maple Leafs just aren't. And I don't see them being that with this roster. Now, like many people, I do think it's early in the year. The Leafs are very, very capable of turning this around. Mitch Marner with 1 point so far this year, that's not going to stay. It's going to change. He will put up points. So will Austin Matthews. So will Tavares. So will all the guys. They could turn it around and go on a 10-game win streak. I would fully believe that, especially since we're playing Chicago next game and then Detroit. We could turn it around very quickly. But what is it ultimately going to lead to in the postseason if we make it there? Let's say the Toronto Maple Leafs just go on an absolute heater and make the postseason. I don't think it's being dramatic in saying that the first 7 games of this season are an extremely huge sign that this team is not going to succeed in the postseason. And again, that's not because of the results of 2-4-1. That is the way that they've played. The holes in their roster, because it's the same holes we've had year after year after year. The lack of scoring is the same lack of scoring we've had year after year in the playoffs. The defensive lapses are the same defensive issues we've had since as long as I can remember as a Leafs fan. And so what's to make me believe that if they make the playoffs that anything's going to be any different? This team, it's not it. I wish it was, but it's not. And a lot of people are picking scapegoats. You know, Matthews, Marner, whoever it may be. I'm not going to say that. I don't think it's one person. It's the whole team. But when you lose the way you lost last season to Montreal, and you come out with all these statements saying how hard you're going to work to prove everybody wrong, when Kyle Dubas comes out and says, I'm doubling down, tripling down, 6 times down on this team, I believe in them, and they will show us that they will win. And then 7 games in, no effort. It's tough to believe. It's tough to believe. If we lose to Chicago on Wednesday, but we outperform them for 90% of the game, I don't care. I don't care that we lost. I'm fine with it. It's early in the season. You're going to lose games and you've got a lot of time to turn it around. But show me effort. Show me improvement. I understand that they care, but they're getting outworked badly. Right now, every single player up and down the lineup. So I want the Leafs to show me that they want to turn this around, that they're going to make it happen. But at the end of the day, I do think changes need to come. Now, part of what I wanted to include in the video that I was thinking about making after the 7-1 loss was that the David Ayer game, the game against Carolina with the emergency goalie, Zamboni driver, Kyle Dubas has openly said that he had trades on the table after that game. I think the trade deadline was the next day. He had trades on the table that he called up and called them off because that game showed Kyle Dubas that that team was not ready to make a deep push in the playoffs and that they didn't deserve a big acquisition at the deadline. In my personal opinion, the 7-1 game against Pittsburgh was showing Kyle Dubas, maybe I'm not going to make a deal today or tomorrow or in the next week, but that was the final straw that something needs to change. That one of the big 4 is gone and that we need to change the structure of this team, change the structure of the salary cap, and make big changes. That's my personal belief, and that's what I would do if I was in his shoes, because that's what it showed me. a team without Crosby, Malkin, Russ, Letang, and Carter, and you lose 7-1 with $40 million in offense, can only score 1 goal. It wasn't even any of them. And then your defense gives up 7 goals. Something's severely wrong. So what are they going to do to show us that they're either making changes or stepping in the right direction? Tonight was better. It was a better effort against Carolina, but they still looked bad. We don't deserve Jack Campbell. He played so well because of the defense in front of him. They were so bad. Improvement. I need to see improvement. What are your thoughts? Let me know. We got a game on Wednesday. We got a game on Saturday. I think I'm actually going, so hopefully they can get me a win. I'd like to see one. But in the meantime, again, let me know your thoughts on the team, and I'll see you in the next video.